Welcome to the placement test for System 9 of the Guitar Daily Workout. So of course this is something you want to get your guitar in your hand, and I'm going to ask you certain things and you're going to see if you have quick access to it. With all of these, you don't have to know the exact exercises, of course. You just need to be able to play this stuff in real time quickly enough that you can actually learn to apply it if you're in a real world situation. So you might know scales, you might know, of course you're going to know your harmonic minor scale, but do you really know them? If I call certain things out, will you really be able to play them? Or even more, if you're in a real world situation on a bandstand, in the studio, on the stage, can you pull this stuff off in real life? And the first part of being able to pull this off, of course, is knowing the dot patterns and having them under your fingers. And then the second step is really learning how to apply this stuff and, playing it over top of different changes and stuff like that. So you actually really hear the phrasing in your head. You learn how to use it musically. But the first step of this is just physically being able to play these things. A lot of them, like if I asked you about your harmonic minor scales, you might know a couple of them really well, and then you might not know a bunch of them really well. And that's where the Guitar Daily Workout comes to play. It really is a very systematic, logical way that hits every single iteration of all of these things so that you really know them, so that by the time you get through 12 weeks, you feel like, I have these under my hand. I might not be a master of them, but I know them and I know them really well, and I can access them in real world situations. All right, so let's jump right in. I'm not going to do the finger gymnastics at all. That's, as always, it's a sort of non-musical thing just to get hands synced. But we're going to start off on the arpeggios. So I'm going to show you, these get more complicated, but I'm going to do my best just to give you something that's, again, a real world application. So let's take... I don't know. Let's do a C major 7 chord. And all I'm going to do is I want you to start from the 5th note. So I'm going to start from the G note with my first finger. And I want you to play a 4-note pattern of the C major 7 chord. So it's going to be the notes G, B, C, D. And then I want you to take it up in 3 different octaves. Okay. Now let's take that, let's turn it into a dominant 7th chord. So again, you should be able to think through this pretty quickly. So dominant 7th chord, I'm going to lower that 7th. All right, then let's take that same, I'll keep just on these ones. It'll make it simpler for you, and you'll know whether you have these or not. Let's do this minor 7th chord. So you're going to lower the 3rd now. All right, and just to know, I've not thought through this before, so I don't know. I'm not asking questions that I've sort of worked all this stuff out beforehand. This is just off the top of my head as well. So in some of these I wouldn't know quite as well as others, but let's take that same thing, do a minor 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, and then the diminished chord. I think you'll know the diminished chord because it's everybody sort of knows this one. Okay, and again, these have real-world practical application. Don't practice stuff you can't really use in real-world playing. All right, let's move on. This one you might not know at all, so I'm going to just ask you if you know the Coltrane pentatonic. If you don't know the Coltrane pentatonic, I can tell you that it's a really, really, really useful chord. Scale, I mean. So if I was in G, in the E form, this is the Coltrane pentatonic, and then the D form. You'll probably just know whether you know these or whether you don't know these. So I won't even do any more. You get the idea. But we're going to go through all 5 iterations up and down the neck. And by the end of this, you should know all of those. And it is a funky, if you're playing... it's got some really real world application on that. So if you don't know it, this is a scale you're going to really enjoy learning. Okay, the next one is the harmonic minor scales. Again, you obviously know some of these harmonic minor scales if you've gotten this far along, but let me just test you on some of these, see how quick you can get to them. Let's do starting from the 7th note, so the 7th scale degree, the G major, or G minor harmonic minor. So I'm going to start with the first finger on G minor. Okay, Let's do another one. Let's do, let's start from the 6th on the low E string, the A harmonic minor. Okay, and let's just do one last one. Let's do starting from, I don't know, starting from the root, A flat harmonic minor. Okay, and again, you know the harmonic minor scale, but do you know all 7 versions of them up and down the neck, and you can, you know, access them if you're actually, you know, soloing and you're in a, and they go to the 5 chord. Are you able to get to the harmonic minor like in a flash without really thinking about it? Or do you have to really think how, you know, where you put it? If you have to think too much, this would be a really good book for you to go through. You'll really get the stuff under your fingers. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do, you saw in the last video, we're just going to take the major scales, all of the modes basically on each string. So let's say, for instance, if I said play a G major scale from the F sharp note on your low E string, so low creator. And let's do this. You might not have been able to play that, but you can figure it out, of course. You know, you can see these notes and say like, okay, I see where that's at. But let's do it 4 times in a row and see if you can actually execute this 4 times in a row. Here we go. Let's go on to the next string set. We'll just do it one time now. So we're going to do Phrygian from the B note. Okay, then we're going to do from the 6th. And then we're going to do Dorian from the 2nd. And we're going to do Mixolydian from the 5th. You want these to be pretty clean too. And then lastly, back to that Locrian. Okay, so again, you know, you can probably do that, but are you able to do that really quickly, well, and efficiently? If you feel like, oh, this would be helpful for me, because it really is very musically useful, then book 9 would be a really good book for you to go through. So if not, you know, book 8, if this is too advanced, might be a good one for you to be in, or if you've been through book 8, you know the stuff in book 9, you can move on to book 10. And as always, you know, you can always, if there's something specific you want to go through, you can just start in that book. As long as you've done the first 4 books, I'd say, you can really jump into any of these books and make them work for you. If there's something you want to learn, if you wanted to learn the harmonic minor, this would be a great book for you to go through, for instance. So you could jump right after the 4th book and jump into this, and you get some really good stuff out of it. Although some of it's pretty advanced and pretty difficult. So doing those, 5 through 8 would be helpful as well. But you can jump around on these. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. See ya.